Glad to have you back. You're watching Arise Africa. And before the break, I had with me Frank Mba, the Force Public Relations Officer. Frank, good to have you back with me. And before we went on that break, you were explaining why the Inspector General of Police had to rescind on the directive giving to him to exempt essential workers from the 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew.
Thank you for having me back, Fade. Though I want to start by doing a bit of correction. I don't think the right word should be rescind. What happened yesterday was the Inspector General of Police gave a very clear and unequivocal directive to the Zonal Assistant Inspectors General of Police as well as Command Commissioners of Police after the virtual meeting to ensure a strict enforcement of all the regulations as a touch on the restriction of movement, orders as well as the curfew, particularly as it relates to the interstate lockdown. And that was instruction. However, in the later part of the evening, we discovered that there were a lot of activities going on, journalists as well as medical personnel, including police officers who are also clearly on essential duties, were bad. And what the IGP did was to intervene. And for me, that's part of managerial function. Part of the core functions of leaders is to step in to suppress mischief and advance remedies in when we have situations like this. And that's exactly what we did. If you look at the first press release that we issued yesterday and you look at the second press release that we issued yesterday, there are no fundamental difference. The only thing we did in the second press release is to reinforce our position and then categorically come out to say persons who are on essential duties, whether they are medical personnel, whether they are security personnel, whether they are ambulance services operators, firefighters, journalists, and every other category of persons that falls within the family of essential duty should be allowed to move around, particularly when such movements are tied to the performance of their functions. And we've also given out instructions that commissioners of police should give effect to these directives and clarifications during the enforcement of the curfew as well as the restriction of movements.
Well, we know what happened last night. So have all journalists and other essential service providers who were detained last night, have they been released? And don't you think an apology is in order?
The actual truth is that the situation yesterday is highly regretted. The confusion that trailed the enforcement of the restriction order yesterday is highly regretted. But as I speak to you, there is no journalist in our custody, and the directives of the Inspector General of Police the directives of the Inspector General of Police have already been carried to the letter.
And are you aware that the reason for the curfew not being enforced strictly is because some police officers have been collecting bribes?
The point remains that I think we need to understand what enforcement of restriction of movement entails and what enforcement of curfews entail. It requires the collaboration of every stakeholder. When there are curfews that are in place for the overall interest of the citizens, for the overall interest of the country, it behoves on everybody in the country, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a father, whether you're a journalist, whether you're a pastor, to work together to ensure the success of those restriction orders. You can't have a scenario where there are restriction orders that are designed to advance the overall interest, particularly in the interests of public health or public safety or public good, and then people go out of their way to actually try to to sabotage the enforcement of those restrictions. I'm also aware of the fact that even in the interstate,
and when you say DSP Frank, when you say sabotage, is collecting bribes sabotage?
I think you should allow us have a conversation. I want to believe that this is meant to be a conversation and not an interrogation. And you should allow me to make my point so that we can flow and make this very useful to our citizens. My purpose of being on this program is to actually help to throw light. So you should allow me to learn before you take the words out of my mouth. I was trying to explain some of the challenges that are associated with the enforcement of interstate restriction. And part of the challenges we've discovered in the past is the fact that there are so many irregular routes, there are so many bush paths, there are so many there are so many roads that are not the regular roads that are being used by persons who are moving from one part of the country to another. Again, when you want to enforce restriction, interstate restriction in a country, it is not as the same as having a lockdown on your external borders, because within your country, you find out that a lot of these communities flow from one state to the other. And so people can easily move from one part of the country to the other, going through bush path, and also going through this community that flows from one part of the state to the other. But in spite of all these challenges, and when these people successfully move from point A to point B, it is very easy for people who are uninformed and who doesn't understand these challenges to come out and say somebody somewhere has been bribed. I'm sure.
Okay, that's where we're going to have to leave it now. DSP Frank Mba, for clarity, essential service providers are exempted from the curfew. Thank you for joining me on Arise Africa.